Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Baseball family, welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig. I've got Mr. Brad here with me. As always, Brad, I want to know how you're doing.
I'm doing well, actually. Had a good night of baseball practice. Worked those kids hard tonight.
Outstanding. That is fantastic.
Yep, started
I'm
off
back
a
in the
little
saddle.
jaunt.
I'm
Yeah,
back in
Brig's
the saddle.
back.
Very excited, as we say. Before we get started, public service announcement. Number one is that we are 23 days away from opening day. It's about the most excitingest thing in the history of things at this moment. Are you
Truly.
excited, Brad?
I am, and this is how excited I am for baseball season this year, Brig, that I have been, religiously watching college baseball.
Whoa.
I never watch college baseball. I'll watch,
right?
a couple games here and there before baseball season, MLB season starts, just to kind of prime the pump, right?
Wet your whistle, yeah.
But it's been every night I pull up ESPN, I'm like, who's playing? And most night, and so this happened the other day. I was like, I just wish there was more college baseball on TV right now. And my wife goes, what nights do they play? Well, I was like, well, it's only Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. She's like, what days do you want them to play?
Okay.
It's well, it feels like whenever I sit down, there's not anything on. And sure enough, Brig, all weekend long, ended up watching baseball. There was always a game on when I sat down after I made that ridiculous proclamation.
That's absolutely amazing. Never stop being who you are.
I'll try.
Oh man, I will have you know that I currently am watching Colombia and Chinese Taipei.
Nice. What's the score?
Yeah, it's on. You can go to MLB.com/World Baseball Classic because the qualifiers are currently in progress. And it is I'm sorry, it's not Chinese Taipei, it's just China. China is playing Colombia right now. I apologize. That's an important distinction.
I mean, I watched Brazil and Germany earlier today just on YouTube.
I did too.
So that was fun.
Yep. I did because you were like, hey, it's on. I said, oh, but yeah. So then I turned it on, and it was the greatest thing ever. So we've already had some eliminations. I think South Africa is officially eliminated with an unfortunate amount of losses, 3 total, whereas Chinese Taipei and Nicaragua are now advancing to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. So congratulations to those two teams. Nicaragua went 3-0 in the preliminaries. Chinese Taipei went 2-2. Spain currently sits at 2-2. No word as to whether or not they will advance or not, but I do think they are out. Because I think it's 2.
I think it's 2 of the 4 advance.
Yeah. So currently in Tucson, we've got Colombia with 1 win, Brazil 1 win, 1 loss, Germany 1 win, 1 loss, China's just 1 loss. And that's where we're at. So it looks like they're about to lose again right now. It's the bottom of the 9th in Tucson. We got Colombia's up 8-1. And there's already an out. So there's your live WBC broadcast for Monday night, by the way. It's late Monday. So tomorrow morning, you'll already know what happened. You don't need me.
Anyway,
let's talk about Chinook seeds really quick, because one of our favorite things around here is sunflower seeds. And we, years ago now, reached out to Chinook seeds. And we said, hey, man, you guys do a bangarang job, and we would love to be involved with what you're doing. So we got a hold of them. Bada bing, bada boom. Now you can get seeds for a discounted price. Okay, it's been that way for years. I say now because it's still happening. It's still now. So you go to Chinook Seeds or Chinook. Okay, I can do this. I promise. Go to ChinookSeedery.com. That's it. Thank you. ChinookSeedery.com. Use code BTPOD at checkout. Baseball Together Pod, but the acronym's BTPOD. That'll give you 10% off your order. It also supports us. It supports your mouth. Everybody wins. You get a taste of the best seeds ever. I am a Parmesan and pepper guy all day, every day. Brad rotates. I think you were at Hatch Chili last time we talked about it, weren't you?
Today I'm going to go Parm and Pep. I had some Parm and Pep today, and I was right there in the pocket, Brig.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, baseball family. ChinookSeedery.com, code BTPod. Get after it. All right. Before we get into the news, we have one last piece of housekeeping. Our friends over at Pillbox Bats sent us a gift. And Brad has it in the box. And he has not looked at it. We were going to do this last week, but because I was out on the IL, Brad graciously waited.
Day-to-day,
so,
not on the IL, Brig. It's okay.
oh yeah, you're right. You put me on day-to-day, didn't you? Anyway, Brad is going to do our unboxing. We're going to do it live. We've never seen it.
Have not looked. Have not cheated. Don't worry.
Oh, man. I'm so
Okay.
excited.
I'm super safe, so I use scissors. I have a hunting knife around here somewhere that's hunted more cardboard and tape than actual flesh, but I don't know where it is right now.
Who cares?
Wrapping. Invoice. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So before we get to the bat mic, there's a couple things in the bottom of the box here that I want to look at real quick. They have sent us several baseball cards,
What?
and it's like a it's like an informational card about Pillbox
ooh.
Bat Company.
Nice.
So there's that. But they sent us some baseball cards in the package.
Seriously?
Yeah, Brian Lawrence of the Padres, 1994 rookie prospect, Jorge Fabrejas, and who's this? Somebody for the Red Sox, Justin Masterson. These are like old school cards, Brig.
That's really
These are-
cool.
Like I remember, this is a 2004 Upper Deck card. Like these are
Awesome.
like mid 90s, early 2000s cards. That's cool. That's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's wrapped somewhat like a piece of meat, if you will.
Mm. This is
Get this away from the
appropriate. I'm
microphone
very
so it's not
excited.
quite so loud.
Baseball family, if you haven't heard the interview we did with Dan, we dropped it last Friday. You need to go check it out because it was such a great conversation. We had a blast. Are you dying? Oh my god.
It's in plastic.
Look at it. Just look
Dude,
at
this is outstanding.
it. Have we
okay.
explained what this is and why we are so excited about it?
Not yet, but we can in just a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Brig. This is our bat mic.
Oh my god.
It has Baseball Together engraved on it right here.
Yeah.
Pillbox Bats logo. And then they went and made an old school microphone on the top.
Yes.
And it has a little Pillbox tag on it. Go ahead and tell the baseball family why we're excited about this and what we're going to use it for.
Okay. So when the World Baseball Classic came to Phoenix a couple of years ago, Brad and I attended. We were very excited to be able to be there. And we took our rundown questions to the street. And we went fan by fan, I guess. And we did street corner interviews with our rundown questions. That's amazing. So what we did was we took a wireless lav mic and we strapped it to the end of a souvenir bat and we put a windsock on top of it, like one of those felt squishy things. And we used it we called it the bat mic. It was an interview microphone like you would see at Good Day America or whatever, Good Morning America. And now we have an official Baseball Together bat mic brought to you by Pillbox Bats. It's got a microphone.
It even has
It's got a
on the
baseball
knob
bat.
the finishing touch.
Oh, it's so fabulous.
What would you call that? Is that like a medallion? It's not a medallion.
It's a maker's
What is that?
mark. Looks like a maker's mark.
Okay, it's on the knob. The Pillbox Bat Company. This is
Dude,
outstanding. I love this thing.
that's so
Let's get some
cool.
heft. Brig,
I bet
we're gonna
it
need to
looks like it
do
would.
some forearm curls before we hit the WBC because if we do like more than like an hour of interviews, it's gonna be tiring going back and forth with this thing. It's got some heft to it. I'm surprised.
That's awesome.
It's cool though.
Well, so
I love this.
So So we told the guys at Pillbox, we're like, look, we're going back to the WBC in Miami in 2026 when it comes, and we need a new bat mic, and this is what we came up with. It was a collaborative effort between them and us, and it has been a joy to work with them. So not only have we loved what we've seen from them, we've loved their story. Their people are amazing. Their art is incredible. They participated in our 12 Days of Christmas giveaway this last year with a souvenir bat mic, or a souvenir mic, souvenir bat. Oh, whichever it is. This is how excited I am. So,
well,
anyway.
And we do have to give credit where it's due as well, because Brian Slipka was the first one we talked to. He's the one who helped us get the ball rolling on this. So Thank you, Brian, Dan, everybody at Pillbox. Like, this thing, I love it. It's super cool. Yeah. You guys knocked it out of the park. This is fantastic.
Way to go.
This is going to be amazing.
And thank you very much. All right, let's get into some news. ESPN and Major League Baseball are yelling and screaming and throwing tantrums. It's pretty interesting. ESPN opted out. They're choosing to opt out of their agreed-upon contract with Major League Baseball almost a full 2 years prior to the expected conclusion. ESPN wants to pay Major League Baseball $350 million less than the agreed-upon price to have broadcast rights to baseball games. That's a big deal. It was a $550 million contract, and now they want it to be $200 million.
$200 million.
Yeah. So, Brad, my question to you is, why does ESPN, who is owned by Disney, why do they value MLB so little?
I think part of it has to do with, I think that they saw declining numbers on their baseball shows, like maybe on Baseball Tonight. And I think part of that had to do, it wasn't as entertaining as like College Game Day or NBA Tonight, or like what is it? What's the show? I can't remember what the NBA show is that they have on TNT with like Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, right, and Ernie Johnson. Like, that's some of the best pregame, halftime, postgame coverage you get on anything, and you weren't getting that. And like I said, College Game Day becomes an event. NFL Countdown on Sunday is an event, and you're not getting that kind of content with Baseball Tonight. It was more subdued, and like, I love Carl Ravage, don't get me wrong, but he's not Ernie Johnson. And the guys the former players who they had on Baseball Tonight were not Shaq and Kenny and Chuck, right? Like, they're not bringing that kind of energy and entertainment. And so ESPN, rather than upping their game and being like, guys, get a little wild, get a little rowdy, because they do on Fox. You watch A-Rod, Big Papi, and Frank Thomas, like, those guys get a little rowdy, and it's fun to watch.
They do.
But it wasn't happening on ESPN. Baseball Tonight was way too buttoned up. Viewership dropped, and they were just like, eventually it went to like, I think it went to a once a week show, and then it went to a podcast. Now they've cut it all together. Like, instead of making the change and adapting to the audience, they just got rid of it.
Yep.
And so in ESPN's eyes, well, baseball's dying.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case.
It's not.
And so, but that's become ESPN's narrative to justify not covering baseball anymore, right?
Well, they have to justify it because
exactly right.
Now, here's what's going to happen.
That they push, though.
You're right, and that's bad for baseball, which they probably secretly love, because they've been kind of bad at baseball for a really long time now.
They have been. They've pushed their interests other ways too. UFC, a lot of golf coverage. They're covering college baseball by doing the college's stream, like the university's stream through ESPN Plus. And for them, I think what it is I don't know for sure this is how this works, but I assume it's just the conference paying ESPN money to like, hey, let us just stream here so that these kids' parents can watch them.
I'm sure it is.
Right?
And ESPN said, sure, give us $3 or whatever.
Probably a lot more than that.
Shut up. Yes, I know.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to do anything for $3. They're probably $1 million at least.
So this means a lot of things, and they're all question marks. Streaming rights, broadcast rights, in-market games, out-of-market games, blackout restrictions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of things are going to change. Commissioner Manfred is going to have to do a lot of decision-making. He's going to have to do it really quick. Luckily, with the regional sports network issues we've seen with Bally and Diamond,
He has a year. It's after this season.
But I'm saying that is not a long time. And so
no, but it's not like, I'm just saying, for those who don't know, it's not like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
we're not hoping March 28th is like there's a solution in place. No. You're right. And I'm glad you said that. That's very good. Last on this, Apple TV Plus will be bringing back Friday Night Baseball. Double headers will begin on the day after opening day, so it'll be March 28th for the first Friday night of the season. Brad and I were talking about this earlier. This is the third time they've done it, but previous years it has been not the first weekend of baseball, but this year it is, and that is fabulous. Very exciting. And as always, when we go live on Thursday nights, we will give you all of the details as to what games to watch, when, where, etc. Times will be available for broadcasting on Apple TV Plus in our lineup. There you go. Now, Albert Pujols is very exciting. Albert Pujols is set to manage the Dominican Republic national team in the World Baseball Classic. Very, very, very excited about this. We saw this coming. We knew he discussed and, mentioned wanting to manage at some level, probably at the major league level in the past, both immediately following his retirement, but then since then we've heard things like this. This is the first real step forward, right? Because he has been managing in the Caribbean Series. This is now a much bigger stage with much bigger talent pool and much more difficult games. So that'll be really fun to watch. If you didn't already have 300 reasons to watch the World Baseball Classic, maybe this was 299 and 300, right? Like, of course your list is at least 290 reasons long. Ours is. So if you want to see what Albert Pujols has in his hip pocket, where his instinct can come into play with calling games and managing personalities, it's going to be really fun to watch. And he has made it clear. He says, quote, "I think being in Winter League this year, it just gave me the experience that I needed and to learn. And I think it prepared me for the big jump to manage in the big leagues." That's Albert Pujols' official position as of right now. Brad, do you think, is he ready for the big leagues?
I think so. Maybe. Here's the thing. Albert Pujols is one of those guys who is a baseball savant, I feel like. That he has so much baseball knowledge to offer. It's what we need to see with the WBC. And I understand that he led a team to win the Caribbean Series. Okay? See what he does at the WBC with a team that was horrendous in the last WBC. The DR did not show up. They were expected to be one of the favorites, and they just completely forgot to show up. Okay? Yep. And so take a look at what he does with that team and how he's able to manage egos in the clubhouse, which I don't know how hard that is with the DR and the WBC, but there's a lot of massive talent on that team.
Huge talent.
I think playing for your country has a little bit of a different vibe than playing for your team when you're getting paid, right? Because you're going out collecting a paycheck. It's your job, whereas this is straight up playing for country pride. So I think that there might be a little bit of a different vibe there. But I'd be curious how he would manage clubhouse with egos. And I'd be curious about his approach, because he was so naturally talented and gifted as a baseball player and so good from day one that sometimes you see with those kind of guys, it's hard for them to relate to the grinders.
Yeah.
Right? You've got 2-3 guys on your team, if you're a really good team, that are just naturally talented ball players. Yes, they work hard.
Of course.
But that's because they get
part of why.
Right.
Right.
And right. But then you've got your grinders who also work hard, but just like the talent level is not at that A+ Hall of Fame tier. They're B+ everyday players, right? I'm curious how well he can relate to those guys, and that's what I would want to see. You're not going to get that at the WBC managing the Dominican Republic, right?
So,
and maybe that's what he got in the Caribbean Series. I don't know.
I was just going to say that. I think that he spent enough time in Major League Baseball as a leader, as a veteran, as a clubhouse guy, on teams that were good and on teams that were really bad. And I think he's got what it takes to really, I don't know, say the right thing, make the right call, inspire the right way, motivate the right way. Different personalities. Lots of teams that he was on were packed with that B+ good enough everyday player. Now you give him a situation where there's tons of talent, maybe a little less hubris, a little more humility. I think you add to that this national pride thing, and you put them under the direction and tutelage of the guy you know they're all looking up to and have been since they were in short pants, as Lee Lowenfish would say. I think given the right talent, that is a recipe for exquisite things to happen for the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And I think that tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that he's not capable or ready, but I just, to me, there's a part of me that feels like managing the DR for him would be easier than it is for most guys. Right?
Oh, I agree.
Because there's a natural level of respect, because he's kind of still a little bit their peer. And those guys, like you said, all looked up to him. Because probably their hero, half, 3/4 of the guys in that clubhouse.
100%.
Right?
Maybe
like,
more.
If I was playing for Team USA and Ken Griffey Jr. was the manager, I'd be like, yes, sir, whatever you want, sir.
Like, do whatever you want.
If you tell me it's Easter, I'll go color some eggs. Like, if that's what it takes, like, I'll do whatever you want, right? Like that's that. But
yeah.
I think you get into a clubhouse, you get some younger guys, and I don't know. I think at this point everybody knows who Albert Pujols is, so maybe it's the same effect. But I would love to see it. Absolutely, 100% would love to see it.
I am too. So. I am here for it all day long. Okay, Jose Altuve is going to spend the majority of the season in left field, per all indications, reports, and rumors, and Yordan Alvarez is going to swoop in and sort of take over when he's not in left field. And I'm worried. I think he's a natural athlete. I think he's a gifted baseball player. I think they cannot leave the lineup without his bat. And I can't imagine a world where he wouldn't be in the clubhouse with his influence. However, I don't think he's going to be able to get to some of these balls. That's what I think. And I think the Crawford boxes are going to help, because some of those balls that he wouldn't be able to get to will either get scooped up or they'll carry him off. But in other ballparks, I wonder how it's going to go. That's my concern. What do you think?
I agree. I think there's a reason they're putting him in left field. Yeah. But you get around the league, and there are going to be some balls that drop that are going to be problematic. I think the throw is going to take some time for him to adjust to, because it's a different animal throwing from the outfield. And I know he's going to be out there shagging fly balls for hours during spring training, because that's who he is. He's a hard worker. He wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't, obviously, right? Because literally everything was stacked against him to get to the big leagues, and he got there and he stayed, right? So you can't.
And he was going to the Hall of Fame,
right?
Let's just call it what it is. It will be very hard to make a case for him to not be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yes, exactly right. But I will say that I did see that his first throw from the outfield in a spring training game was an error. And it's going to take time for him to learn how to play the ball off the bat that far on a big league field and big league level fly balls. So there's going to be an adjustment period. Is he athletic enough and good enough at baseball to figure it out by the All-Star break? Yes. Will he be an All-Star this year? No.
Is that soon enough?
Will he
Can the team afford it? I don't know.
I think they're going to keep him there, though.
I do too.
I don't think they're gonna bail off this like the Dodgers did with Mookie Betts initially at shortstop last year.
No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna do that.
I think they're gonna keep him there. They're gonna.
It would
they're
have to
gonna
be
deal with the
catastrophic.
growing pains. I think they're gonna deal with the growing pains because I think that they feel like the West is still within reach.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not though. Okay. All right. Last thing before we move on, before we let you go, Pete Rose has been in the news lately, and Pete Rose. His family continues to advocate for his eligibility for the Hall of Fame. Couple of timeline updates that you should know. Pete Rose has submitted, before he died, he submitted his own petition a couple of times. First was in 2015. In 2015, he sat down with Commissioner Manfred. He made his petition. Manfred said, no, thanks for coming. The end. Now, there was a petition active as well. On behalf of Pete Rose by his lawyer leading up to Pete Rose's passing. Obviously, that expired with Pete Rose. Now, Pete Rose's family, the family of, specifically his daughter, is continuing that petition with Commissioner Manfred. She's asking and working with the lawyer to reinstate Pete Rose from his gambling ban, right? His ineligibility is what they call it. That's the best way to put it. Just call it what it is. Ineligibility. And there was a meeting between Pat Conroy, who's the spokesman for MLB, and Rob Manfred. That was on December 17th between Fawn, Rose, and Major League Baseball. It was a 1-hour meeting. We don't know a lot about what happened in there, but the plan has always been to get Major League Baseball to remove his ineligibility, and now that he's gone, and that it is considered a lifetime ban, many people are saying he ought to be reinstated and he ought to be removed from the ineligibility list because he is no longer in the lifetime. It's not a lifetime thing anymore. The guy died. Okay?
No longer living.
So, yeah, I was trying to be delicate, but there is no way. He's dead.
There's not.
The lifetime ban has technically expired, depending on how picky you are on semantics. Manfred is, as of this moment, has reported to be seriously considering it. Now, it is also very important to understand that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball have no sway whatsoever over the Hall of Fame. That organization and that committee stands separate, and they were going to do whatever it is they are going to do. Manfred can't do anything about it. All he can do is take what he's been told in the past, which is the official position of the Hall of Fame has been that no player who remains designated ineligible for baseball will be allowed into the Hall of Fame. If you're ineligible on one, you're ineligible for the other, is the basic stance. That might change, or it might not, based on what Manfred may or may not do. So, there's the update. Those are the details. I am going to put my foot down right now, and I'm going to make my statement, and then we're going to move on.
Okay.
I do not believe Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame. I believe he was a gifted athlete. I believe he worked harder than many, many other baseball players. I believe he is the hit king, and I will still consider him to be the hit king. Does he have a place in my heart as a baseball fan? Absolutely. Did he bet on baseball? He sure enough did. Is that rule number 2? Every single freaking day. Also, was there reprehensible human behavior? I'm going to jump on that wagon as well. If you did not read this book,
Charlie Hustle, for those of you not watching.
For those of you not watching, it's Charlie Hustle by Keith O'Brien, subtitled The Rise and Fall of Pete Rose and the Last Glory Days of Baseball. We had an interview with Keith O'Brien. He was an absolutely great conversation. The book is 7 million times better than whatever your argument is. You need to jump in there and facilitate this discussion in the comments section, because I know there are a lot of you who are ready to come after me, and I'm ready for it. So hit me up, because Pete Rose does not belong in the Hall of Fame. You can take him off the ineligibility list for all I care. That's fine. But if you're going to do that, do it with Shoeless Joe and his brethren from 1919. Then we can discuss what happens with the Hall of Fame. But as of right now, he remains ineligible and does not belong in the Hall of Fame. Okay, thank you very much, Brad, for letting me be on my soapbox here.
No problem. Okay, one more thing before we go. I have this new thing that I want to... We'll see if we can get this in like once a month. Kind of like that's baseball season. If we're not doing that, let's do this. This is called Get a Load of This Guy. Okay? So this is Travis Hunter. And for those of you not paying attention, Travis Hunter is a two-way player. He played for the University of Colorado, defensive back and receiver. He's going to get drafted in the NFL this coming up a couple weeks, because he's very, very good at football. So much so that he has an arrogance about him that is unmatched, I believe. So
he
says that
right.
What he does, playing both ways in football, is more difficult than Shohei Ohtani. Pitching and hitting at an elite level, at a Hall of Fame level in Major League Baseball. Travis, I'm sorry. Step in the box and try to hit one ball that's traveling 100 miles an hour, much less try to hit it the way that Shohei Ohtani does at the frequency he does. And then do that for 4 days in a row. And then on the 5th day, go be a Cy Young caliber pitcher for your team against the best hitters in the world. And then the next day, get back after it and go hit at an MVP level once again. Okay?
For 4 more days.
For 4 more days. Now, do this over the course of 162 games in a 6.5 month period.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 180 days or so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. He said, Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do it in football. But you got to do a lot in football. I'm sorry, but he's got to know how to pitch these guys, because if he makes a single mistake, home run, and it doesn't matter who is at the plate. It's going to happen every single time.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Travis Hunter. You're a tremendous athlete, and I respect what you do, because those boys are out there hitting for real, as Charles Barkley says. But you're not Shohei Ohtani, nor will you ever be. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you, Brad. All right, baseball family, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to jump in the comments and yell at us, because we love it, and you love it. You know you do. Also, you're probably going to agree with us, and we're probably going to agree with you. We do a lot of engagement on the comments on all the social media platforms, but especially on YouTube. So if you're coming in hot, coming in on YouTube. All right, baseball family, don't forget, we will be with you again Friday for our regularly scheduled Ball Talk episode. So that is going to change during the season, and we'll keep you updated on the schedule shift as we go. But with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review the show anywhere you're able. Whether you're listening or watching, we're grateful that you're here. Thank you for everything you do to make this possible for us. And with that, we will catch you on Friday.